Hello and welcome to pmplounge.com. Today we are talking about work authorization system. Let's try and understand the concept of work authorization system. As you can see on the screen, somebody is passing the ball to another player of his team and is assigning work in project management. If you want to assign a certain work to a certain resource in project management, is it as simple as passing the ball? Well, of course not. We have an authorization system in place to take care of this. So let's try to understand what is work authorization system, why should you be studying it, and what is the fuss all about. So as always, first things first, why is this important? Why should you invest your time and understand work authorization system? Well, the number one thing is you can expect a question in the exam around the definition or the utility of the work authorization system, and that itself is a good idea and is a good reason that you should be giving some time and understanding this concept, because you are definitely going to find a question or two about work authorization system in your PMP exam. And number two, concepts like work authorization system, concepts like these which are not as popular and which are not as explicit and as in usage in the daily project management life as others are. And I say that because some of the organizations might not have a work authorization system altogether. So you might be managing projects, you might be a project manager managing certain projects, but you might have never heard about a work authorization system, or you might be using a certain tool and thinking that that is the work authorization system. So concepts like these, when you understand concepts like these, you are going to get a deeper understanding of project management. You are going to be in true sense a PMP certified project manager, because then you can go anywhere in the world, you can manage any project in the world, and you will have a certain knowledge about project management that non PMP certified project managers will not. So concepts like these, concepts like these, the work authorization system, are going to help you develop that kind of deeper understanding of project management. So let's look into the definition of the work authorization system. Now, first thing to understand is there is a difference between project management system and work authorization system, and some people also call it project management information system. Okay, so work authorization system, the WAS, is a subsystem of the project management system, the PMS. So this is a subsystem. That is the first thing that you should understand. And this system is a collection of formally documented procedures that define how the project work will be authorized or committed to ensure that the work is done by the identified organization or resources at the right time and in the proper sequence. I'll give you a few seconds to read through this definition again, because it is extremely important. Work authorization system is a collection of formally documented procedures that define how the project work will be authorized to ensure that the work is done by the identified organization at the right time and in the proper sequence. So, right out of the gate, work authorization system is something which is extremely important, you might think, right? Without a work authorization system, you cannot expect projects to run. Now, the work authorization system might also be used by the project manager and or his or her designees to approve all the project work throughout the course of the project. So, not just assign the project work, right? To approve the completed project work, a work authorization system might also be used. Now, what is project work? It is also known as a work package, right? So in project management language, project work is also known as work package. So to assign work packages to the right resources so that they are done at the right time and in the proper sequence is what is the basic functioning of a work authorization system. This is the basic value that work authorization system provides. Now, remember in the definition, we talk about procedures, right? And I repeat the definition here that a work authorization system is a collection of formally documented procedures that define how the project work will be authorized to ensure that the work is done by the identified organization at the right time and in the proper sequence. What are these procedures? What are we talking about when we say a procedure, right? So let's look into that. A work authorization procedures specifically detail who may authorize work to be completed and how those authorizations may be obtained. So not just the project manager, there could be team leaders, there could be junior project managers, and they can also assign work packages to the project resources. So how do they do that? Who basically have the authority to authorize the work packages and how those authorizations can be obtained? These are the procedures that these are the things that these procedures will specifically detail about. And these procedures will include which documents must be completed prior to work being initialized and whether there are any other prerequisites to work being performed at any particular level during the project. So this is why procedures are important, so you've got documentations, you've got the prerequisites of what work needs to be done and how it can be authorized, and all of this basically entails that procedures are important. And this is what we are talking about when we say procedures in the definition of the work authorization system. Now, there's one grave mistake that everybody does, not everybody, but most of the people do, is that they think a work authorization system is a tool, right? But it is not a tool. It is not just a tool. A work authorization system is not just an application or a tool. It is not a web application. It is not a tool. It is not a software. That is not a work authorization system. You need to understand that work authorization system includes both the processes and the rules, right, of how the work will be authorized. We talked about procedures, right? So it includes that as well as a tool and an application, tool or an application or a software to enable and track the project work or the work packages. So it is not just a tool, but it is a combination of the process rules and the tool itself. So you've got PPM tool, you've got SharePoint, or even an Excel spreadsheet, right? It can be used as the tool. But for it to become a work authorization system, the formally documented procedures need to be defined. So the procedures that we talked about in the previous slide, those need to be defined, right? For these tools, the PPM tool or the SharePoint tool or the Microsoft Excel tool, for these tools to be used as a work authorization system, those formally documented procedures, they need to be defined. Now let's look into a sample question, and I hope your understanding of work authorization system has quietly improved and you're able to understand what work authorization system is. That way you'll be easily able to answer a sample question that we have here. So a formal procedure for authorizing project work is a project charter, scope statement, statement of work, work authorization. Now, the answer is, of course, D. It is work authorization. We're talking about a formal procedure here, right, for authorizing project work. Project charter does authorize the project manager, but the question talks about the formal procedure here. So we're talking about the procedure. We're not talking about a document that authorizes the project manager. The procedure is indeed known as the work authorization system, and that is why the answer to this question is D, work authorization, and not A, project charter. So I'd like to repeat that the PMP exam is a tricky exam, and you can get questions like these where you will be tempted to answer. For this question, you might be tempted to answer a project charter, but the right answer here is work authorization. So it's a tricky exam, and I'll link to some of the tips and tricks for the PMP exam that we have made videos on in the description, so you can go over, check out that playlist, and kind of prepare yourself for your PMP exam. So that is all that we had in this video. Hope you liked it. Do hit the like button if you liked it, and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. Check us out on our social media, facebook.com/PMP Lounge and twitter.com/PMP Lounge. And as always, do check out the website pmplounge.com, your number one free resource for PMP certification and project management industry information. Thank you.